What's going on, Internet? This is Lambo coming to you from the Nerdery, and I wanted to bring you another 3D Gloomhaven terrain video, this one for Scenario 18, The Abandoned Sewers. So, spoiler alert. In case you haven't figured out by now, I'm going to show you what's in the Abandoned Sewers. If you don't want to see it, monsters, level, whatever, don't watch the video. I'll be using only basic heroes, though, starting 6 or 5 or whatever. We have to play a 5-player campaign, so you won't see any new heroes. But anyway, I was really excited to build this level. I took a little bit of time on it. This actually, the Abandoned Sewers levels is why I got a 3D printer in the first place. Almost a year ago, we played in one of the first campaign groups I was playing in Gloomhaven, and we played this level, and I did a lot of Hirst Arts stuff at that time, and I still do. But I couldn't figure out a good way to make a sewer out of Hirst Arts the way I wanted it to look. Not saying you can't do it, it's just I didn't have the right molds, and it wasn't going to look the way I wanted it to, which is kind of like you see now. So I bit the bullet and bought myself a Creality Ender 3, and have loved every minute of it. Despite the headache it sometimes is tinkering and fixing and leveling and refixing and whatever, because 3D printers aren't just perfect. At least the Ender 3 isn't perfect, but it is wonderful for the price you pay. Anyway, so what you have here is what I was really excited to build for about 8 months now. Okay, so I'm going to back out, let you see the whole thing. I've kind of done it in tiers, in levels, so I'm going to do a quick around panoramic. And I don't know why I'm doing this, because I built, actually, so I feel silly now, because I built this table topper, sorry, I'm moving the camera, so that I could do this one thing. As we were playing, people couldn't see from different angles last game. Oh, so now it's on a Lazy Susan, and I can just turn the table. I don't know why I was circling, as Homer Simpson would say. I am so smart, SMRT. Okay, so that's actually just a IKEA purchase of a $12 Lazy Susan and some hardboard from like Lowe's. And that's what you get. Okay, so I'm going to give you the overhead level shot right now. So that's what the level is supposed to look like. Three little sections. And then if we come up over the top, see if I can get up in this whole thing, yeah, it's basically the same. Okay, well, it is the same because I made it and I know it. All right, so let's get up in here and turn it to where you can see. So, starting in the main area, let's talk terrain. The main terrain that you're seeing as far as the elevation changes and the hex tiles, that is High Ground 3D Tiles, a really cool 3D tile company, or 3D file company. They make these tiles. They're normally used for, primarily their target audience is Heroscapers, people who play the game Heroscape, but I kickstarted them, their project, because I loved the hex tiles for Gloomhaven, and I do other things. So these are the Stone Road tiles. I used them in my previous build, the Gloomhaven Town Square. I just painted them differently for this one. And then I got to incorporate these water hexes. So I'm going to get up in here a little bit so you can see them a little better. So the water hexes, these are their swamp and water tiles. And what they are, they're kind of like a cup. So, they cup inwards as a 3D file. And I realize my hand isn't a perfect cup, but get the idea. And then I painted the bottom to brown-green style, and then you fill it with 2-part resin epoxy. It's really cheap from Walmart. I buy, it's Gorilla Glue's 5-minute epoxy, 2-part resin. They come in like a giant syringe, and I can fill 3 or probably 4 or 5 tiles of the double tiles, so roughly with that much epoxy. And then you can also use their JB Weld epoxy, or some other stores probably have it for cheaper if you have the right stores in your area. That's what I have available to me. But then I paint up the bottom, fill it with the epoxy. I mixed in some colored washes to get different color effects as I was experimenting, and eventually settled on kind of a green and brownish wash mixture. But you can see like this tile, as I was first experimenting right there, that tile had more green wash in it. This tile back here had more brown wash in it. And so I was just experimenting. A little bit of wash goes a long way. Anyway, really love how they came out. And they're hard. Once they cure, it takes a couple days to cure completely. They're not sticky anymore. And so, yeah. The other main thing you're looking at, the main sewer terrain, which is what got me into this 3D printing business in the first place, is a Devon Jones creation. And Devon Jones is a 3D modeler. He puts stuff on Thingiverse, a lot of Openforge stuff. If you've done D&D 3D printing, you've probably seen his stuff for terrain. I believe he has a Patreon and some other site that he works on, but I totally recommend going and checking his stuff out, supporting him if you can, because I love his 3D terrain, especially the sewer level here, because that's where he made all these type of tiles, and they come individually, and I just glued the sections together. Okay, the other main piece of terrain, I guess there's two main pieces. So you've got the water coming, the sludge coming out of the pipes. That's just hot glue that I threw something underneath, like a pen, I think, on that one with some wax paper over it, so you could like arch into the water a little bit. And then the hot glue ended up sticking to the wax paper anyway, so it didn't work quite like I wanted to. I had to peel it off. But then same thing with here. Also, I can pull it up so you can see. It's just hot glue, and then I put after it had dried, I threw a green and brown wash on it, let that dry, and then I put more of that 2-part resin epoxy, just a light coat over the top of it to give it the really watery gloss, sludge look to it. Okay, and then the last main piece of terrain up here, this giant sewer grate is awesome, and I found that on Thingiverse. It is by a modeler who goes by the name of MojoBob. Makes a sewer grill. Thingiverse. I ended up putting them together and printing it in one section. It really comes in 2 sections, but I really wanted it for this giant door right here. Anyway, models. On this section, what you're seeing are for monsters are the Vipers, are from Wrath of Ashardalon. They are snake models. Picked them up on the internet. Some people were selling just the models, so I picked up a bunch of them. And then the Oozes are all Gibbering Mouthers, also from Wrath of Ashardalon. And I'm going to have to give a shout out to my buddy from the Thunder from Down Under. His name is, or he goes by the name of Jay Carter, and on Facebook, and he also posts on YouTube under the 15091 Bravo, 15091 Bravo. He's got a YouTube channel. And we've been sharing ideas for a while now, gotten to talking quite a bit, because he has the exact same passion I do, and that's creating 3D Gloomhaven terrain, and he does some fantastic stuff. And he's the one who keyed me into the Wrath of Ashardalon models for use as Gloomhaven miniatures. So, if you haven't checked out his stuff yet, go do that, and thanks, mate. That's my best Australian accent. I'm totally ready to move and go down under. Okay. I think I'll put a link to his stuff somewhere in this video, probably right here, because I can do that. Anyway, check it out. All right, moving on down. I try to do a little waterfall thing right there. Same deal. Hot glue, resin on top. If we can get in on it. It just, with the base, I didn't want to cover that section because I can reuse those base tiles. So you've got a slight gap in where the water comes out. Anyway, High Ground actually makes a waterfall tile. I just wanted more importantly was the resin top up here, and the waterfall tile is not a resin receptacle, so I went with my own waterfall. Anyway, that ladder comes from Printable Scenery. One of their original Kickstarter models, the Bridge Cottage, has that ladder. So I just printed out that ladder to do the elevation change. I threw some Hirst Arts wood pieces from my Hirst Arts terrain into the resin down here. And then the models on this side are, these are my Vermlings, and they are RocketPigGames Ratmen, Infiltrators, and Prowlers. Prowlers are the front guys here. They represent my standard models, and Infiltrators are my elites. That's what I use in my games. Oh, and to differentiate blobs, my buddy, who also has a 3D printer, printed out these flexible coverings. They just slide on, so we can tell our elite blobs, More standard blobs. But we found pretty quickly, especially when we got down to this bottom section, which is ridiculous, that when oozes multiply, and the summons, you kill their summons, summons don't drop coins. So I needed a way to differentiate summoned blobs. So we didn't use this in the game, but I went on and printed out some of these blobs, and these are a different model. They are also a RocketPigGames blob set. I found it on DriveThruRPG. 3 different styles. I printed up one of these. I've got another one that's actually drying right now. But I think I'll use these from now on to represent the summoned blobs. So that way we know when they die, I don't drop a coin there. A lot faster than trying to figure out what number was the summon and whatever. Okay. So that door up there, that sewer grate, is magnetized. That's just an elongated grate door from High Ground 3D Terrain. They have a set of doors, and I just elongated their one grate to make it fit. I busted out my wargaming skills, and I magnetized it. There's actually a little rare earth magnet. You probably can't see it, but it's right there and right there. And it's just hooks right on. So that's this door right here. All right. More water terrain into the cistern, as they called it, in the level. So I made that water not disgusting, because it's supposed to, cistern is drinking water, right? And more blobs. And this down here is all Hirst Arts. So that's the old plaster stuff. And I still use it because it looks great in certain areas. Still modular. For this section, I just built up little modular tile sections to fit around the water tiles. And the water tiles are the High Ground 3D tiles. Okay, so that is my sewer level. Back up a little bit. Abandoned sewers. Had a lot of fun. We got overwhelmed last night. Did not win. That happens. I think we're batting about 50% on levels. And we upped the difficulty by 2 because we're a 5-player campaign. And we die. Or get exhausted, I should say. But man, it was fun. And it looked really cool. So I don't feel bad that we'll have to play this again. And that gives me more time to work on other stuff. Oh, almost lost the camera. Sorry about that. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching the, 6 of you that might. I'm kidding. There's more than that. Actually, getting up in the high 70s of people who are subscribed, which I never thought there'd be 75 people who'd want to watch my stuff. So you guys are awesome. I salute every one of you, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions or comments, let me know. I'll put links to everything that I've used in the description. But yeah, happy gaming.